Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Transforming Care Report Out. We're just going to check in with colleagues at Shrewsbury that they can hear us before we start. We have... Excellent, Richard. I was just going to read my notes, which says we have colleagues Richard Stevens over at Shrewsbury, who you heard loud and clear, and also Rachel Hamner from the KPO office looking after our guests. So if sounds and visuals are okay. I think we've got a couple of seats there that can be taken. You all right? Oh, you got them? Okay. My name is Cathy Smith and I'm the Trust's KPO lead, Kaizen Promotion Office lead. And I think you're getting used to the format of our reports out now, which are quite rapid, and each of the speakers will introduce themselves as they go through. So in my KPO lead role, I can tell you that we're now into our second year of our partnership with the Virginia Mason Institute, who are based in Seattle, and we've now gained accreditation to run our rapid process improvement workshops without an on-site sensei. So this is another first for us in our journey, that Melissa is a long way away, but nevertheless on the phone Monday night. We now have over 1,300 of our staff here at SAF who have embraced the opportunity to get involved and in fact access the training in the methodology and philosophy that underpins our work. So it really is gaining momentum now. And one result of this work is that the knowledge and skills have been used to improve over 7,000 patient journeys. So those 7,000 patient journeys are now safer and kinder thanks to the work of our staff using this method. And we've been able to provide the sepsis bundle to well over 50 patients now who have received that bundle in under an hour on our Gemba in the SAU. So this rapidly growing group of staff from a diverse range of disciplines and departments are maintaining and improving these changes in the respiratory discharge process, the sepsis pathway, now recruitment, and you'll hear for the first time this afternoon, soon to be clinics, and are also undertaking daily Kaizen activity. We'll hear more about that later as well. But we want to do more. We now want to roll out some of the improvements we've made in the previous RPIWs that have been tested and embedded into other wards. So very quietly, wards are asking if they can try the sepsis trolley and some of the discharge processes, and they're now testing them. So it's for us all about the measurement. Measure before, test it, and measure again. And we'd be very grateful to hear from anybody else who'd like to try and test these improvements as well. And to support our leaders who are doing this, they have more in-depth training through our Lean for Leaders course. The first two cohorts are now halfway through their modules and testing their improvement ideas. And we'll be handing in yet more homework in January, so just as a reminder. And we look now for our candidates for the 2017 cohorts. So the Transforming Care Institute is now well established over on the Shrewsbury site as our base. We then cover all sites, and in the summer this has enabled us to host a steady stream of internal and external visitors who wish to know more about our work. So today we hear more from our first RPIW team for our third value stream, recruitment, a 90-day update from our sepsis work, and also daily Kaizen activity that's happened within facilities. Concluding today with executive reflections, and Simon will wind up our day for us. So every one of our speakers have personally been using elements of the Transforming Care production system whilst working to improve the experience of patients and reduce the burden of work on our staff. So this is where now I resume today's role, or today's second role, as workshop lead for this week's RPIW. And okay, Lou, we'll start. So what a week we've had. We've been based at the Business Park, so our first off-site RPIW on the Gemba of the recruitment team. And our team have coped with some very early mornings, late nights, wind, rain, new terminology, and the most ideas that any RPIW has generated. 83 ideas on Monday for them to think about and test. So the boundaries of our RPIW was from the receipt of the post information form to the time at which the confirmation letter is sent. The current process can involve repetition, duplication, complexity and wait states. The pre-employment elements of the recruitment process were thrown up into the air and reordered by the team. And this was very unnerving and even alarming at times for the recruitment team, who are very conscientious and proud of the work and proud of the service that they've developed in just the last 2 years. So I'd like to acknowledge both the away and the home team that accommodated the ideas, the testing and the interruption to their daily work. And the true grit and determination of Louise and the away team saw them through many moments of head spinning, feet aching times to a place where they've collectively removed many of the non-value added elements of the process, and they'll reveal a slimmed down process that offers opportunity for staff to come and work at SAF much sooner.
Hello, I'm Louise Brennan. I'm a Kaizen Promotion Office Specialist and I'm the team leader for this RPIW. The Target Progress Report details 7 baseline metrics for this RPIW. The lead time from when the recruitment team receive a post-information form to a confirmation letter is sent to a candidate is 42 days. The target set by our sponsor Andrew Tapp is to reduce this to 7 days. Staff walking distances to complete a candidate's pre-employment meeting is 130 steps. 3 quality defects were identified. These are percentage of times the post-information data is incomplete had a defect rate of 60%. Percentage of episodes when the candidate attends the pre-employment meeting without all the appropriate documents had a defect rate of 50%. And 50% of candidates had not completed their occupational health and DBS online link by the end of their pre-employment meeting. The target for all the quality defects is 0%. The 5S baseline for the meeting interview room is at level 1 with a target to achieve level 4. I will now hand over to the away team to let them tell you about their achievements this week.
Hi, I'm Lynn Goddard. I'm the Assistant Admin Manager for Women's and Children's. This week the problem Cara and I were given was that 60% of post-information forms received had missing data and occupational health questions were being re-entered by recruitment onto the Team Prevent questionnaire. We aim to remove duplication of work and information. Our ideas to solve the problems were to identify unnecessary fields and duplicated data. So we condensed the post-information form and included the Team Prevent questionnaire. What did we test? After discussions with recruitment staff to understand what was required, we produced several versions of the form. We also redesigned the documents, making them more user-friendly. The end results were some new forms were trialled by managers and returned to recruitment with 0 defects. And IT is currently working on putting the document on the intranet so it can be completed electronically and emailed direct to recruitment and Team Prevent in one action. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Hannah Yates and I'm the recruitment advisor within the recruitment team. Internal references are currently taking around 4 to 6 working days and involve both ESR and HR entering factual information onto an electronic form. Problems further down the line that occur within a clinical setting are that ward managers do not always have time to access their emails to approve the reference once received. Our idea is once the internal candidate has been offered their new position, they will be asked questions by the recruitment team, which will then pre-populate the reference. The recruitment team member will then call the candidate's current manager to confirm the information that the candidate has provided is correct, and then if so, the recruitment team will then call the new hiring manager and inform them of the information for their decision to then be made. We have tested out the legalities with HR and the acceptability by our recruiting managers. This system will be implemented next week and we believe that this will reduce waste within our teams and also for others. Thank you.
Hiya, I'm Katie Molland from Medical Staffing and along with Hannah I looked at references for the Trust. So my focus this week was looking at external references and trying to reduce the current waiting time from 21 days down to 2 working days. Again, to resolve this, we designed a process of pre-populating references using information gained from candidates' application forms and at interview stage. This information would then be sent to a reference via an email to confirm the details are accurate. This removes the amount of time and effort that's required from a referee, which hopefully will encourage a quicker response rate. This will also improve wasting, processing time, motion, and improve the overall lead time for references currently at the Trust. The process will be rolled out next week and be tested over the next 90 days to see if our 2-day target is achievable.
Hello, my name is Louise Graham and I'm the Recruitment Manager here at the Trust. We identified that there was no standard timeframes for the recruitment team, recruiting managers, candidates and referees in terms of responding to requests for information or action required. We have developed timeframes for turnaround of key information, these being 20 working days for pre-employment checks to be received. In order to help us achieve these timeframes, we've decided to redesign and improve our workflow within the recruitment team, remove one of the offer letters, thereby reducing waste duplication, review and rearrange elements of our recruiting activity by front-loading some of the recruitment activities, and to cease sending contracts of employment in respect of internal movers. In order to test this, we've introduced a daily huddle to level the workload, thereby impacting on workflow, and having introduced standard work, we can now test this. We will embed the new processes and review and measure the impact and report out every 30 days.
Hi, my name's Carla. I work for the Workforce Assurance team. So the problem that we looked at was we had waste in our process flowchart, as you can see on the board in pink. This has resulted in 50% of candidates not completing their DBS or occupational health check before their pre-employment meeting, and 50% of candidates also had not brought the correct ID documents. So we've resolved this by designing a new email to send out to candidates. We've added in logos for the DBS and occupational health so that they can click and go direct to the portal. As Louise has explained, the offer letter has been looked at and revamped, and this now includes more direct about what they need to bring for their ID. So we've tested this by sending out the email to the candidates and asked for feedback. We've reduced waste within the email and made it easier and clearer for candidates to understand. So this has resulted in 2 out of 2 candidates have completed online checks before they came for their pre-employment meeting, and they've brought the correct ID documents, and it's left 0 defects.
Hello, my name is Julie Locke and I'm on the Patient Experience panel. Our team was asked to look at the environment for the candidate attending the pre-employment meeting. The recruitment team are based in one of 2 buildings on the Shrewsbury Business Park. We started by walking the route the candidates would take when coming onto the business park. At present, there is no corporate signage around or on the buildings to indicate that staff departments are based there. We also looked at the map the candidates received with the pre-employment check information and how they would access parking on arrival. The department have received a quote for the signage to be put on the front of both buildings and the values displayed on some of the upper windows. This would clearly enhance the image of the Trust in this area and make the building easier to find. We have created a new map with just the area of the business park the candidates need, written directions and photographs of the buildings. We PDSA'd this a number of times and this is now being sent to candidates. We looked at a number of ways of addressing the parking issue, which included parking bays just for pre-employment check visitors. On the inside of the building, we have created new signage directing the candidates to the recruitment team.
Hi, my name's Laura Kavanagh and I'm one of the HR business partners here at the Trust, and I worked with Julie and with Fern looking at candidate experience on arrival for pre-employment checks. So we looked at the meeting room that the pre-employment checks take place in and undertook a 5S grid assessment. You can see there from the pictures before, the room was quite busy, quite cluttered, and there were some archiving boxes there at the back. So we sorted, swept, simplified and standardised. We created a standard process setup for the room, and we also set up an electronic diary for the team to check availability and book. And finally, we added a clothes rail so that the sample uniforms that our new candidates try on are there ready, available for them to do that. So the results, we find that hopefully be easier to find the recruitment team, the office, and then identify the people that you need to see when you get there. And also we hope we've created a great first impression for our candidates when they come in to do their pre-employment checks.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Herbert and I'm a facilitator with the KPO team. I was in the 5S document team with Charlotte. And the problem was the candidate would like to take some of the information away with them, as it's difficult to remember all the information we currently share. So we had the idea of a welcome pack. The contents of the pack consists of various documents, including our values. We wanted the candidate to feel proud that they are joining our trust, and by giving them the pack, we are supporting the trust values. We have set up the packs in the interview room, so all the recruitment team have access to them. We have created a standard process description document to ensure that the standard work for putting together the packs is maintained. We have also incorporated a Kanban system so as the staff never run out of the packs. We have PDSA'd the packs with several candidates and received good feedback. They think this improves our candidates' experience and gives our organisation and we're a great organisation to come and work for. Sorry, thank you.
Hello, I'm Fern Farmer, Medical Secretary Supervisor for Unscheduled Care. The problem of waste of motion was looked at, as when undertaking pre-employment checks with candidates, the time and motion spent to undertake this was lengthy. The idea to solve the problem and reduce the burden on the staff was to ensure that all the forms and the welcome pack were available for the candidate on arrival. We used the standard worksheet to test before and after. An initial observation showed the team member made numerous journeys and 130 steps between their desk, the meeting room and the photocopier. Following the 5S process, the team member met with the candidate to assess the progress. The results showed a reduction in steps and timing. The timing was reduced from 52 to 36 minutes and the steps were reduced from 130 to 72 steps.
Hello, my name's Charlotte Banks and I'm the Staff Involvement Lead within the Workforce team, and I was asked to look at the electronic tracker that the recruitment team uses. So the recruitment team identified problems with the electronic candidate tracker, and this was an Excel spreadsheet and that due to its size had been split into 3. The tracker had between 53 and 54 fields, and these had been added over time due to reporting pressures from other departments, and even I was guilty of adding 2 of those which were unnecessary. In addition, we found a DBS spreadsheet which had 19 fields and replicated a lot of the data. The team suggested that we sort the necessary from the unnecessary and merge the multiple trackers and DBS into one. They also asked that we merge and reduce the total 73 fields and introduce a flagging system identifying actions at 2, 9 and 20 days. We tested it with the recruitment team to make sure they found it easy to use and that the spreadsheet had all the fields that they required. We also timed how long it took them to complete the fields to make sure that it had reduced. The results were that, we reduced the tracker fields by 42%. The recruitment team spent less time filling out the tracker by introducing standard ways of working. And their computers have been scheduled to be updated with a faster operating system, and this will be picked up next week to make sure everything works well. I'm really proud of the volume of work produced and the number of improvements implemented this week by the away team and the home team. The team have kept the candidate as their focus throughout the week and eliminated wastes and defects from the process. The reduction of forms and organisation of the documents now means the recruitment team are walking less steps for the pre-employment meeting. This is a reduction of 45%. The waste of duplication and rework has been reduced by creating one offer letter. A provisional start date and trust induction are provided sooner to the candidate, and this letter is provided within the same day of receiving the post information form. Due to changes with the candidate email and offer letter, the candidate now arrives to their pre-employment meeting with everything required and have completed their occupational health and DBS online link, and this has now meant that the defects are down to 0%. The meeting interview room has been organised and now feels more welcoming for the candidate. The 5S level is now at level 2 and is really close to achieving level 3. With the development of standard work, the lead time from when a post information form is received to sending a contract to a candidate now has a baseline measure of 20 days. And the implementation of a new process for references now has a target baseline of 2 working days. These metrics will be measured over the next 90 days.
As you've heard, we've tested many ideas and implemented over 18 specific changes. As process owner, I feel the standard work will be pivotal to improving the overall recruitment experience for candidates and staff. I will be taking forward the remaining actions from the newspaper and developing further our processes. I'll see you in 60 days.
And at this point, I share our lessons learnt for the week, of which there's been so many, and the team themselves shared their own learning, which we had several each, which is great. So for me, I think the takeaway message this week is that we really do need the standards, and the standard works. The team have been able to put in the standard 20 days to complete all of the checks, and a very ambitious 2 days for references, but that will give them something to continue to test and measure as we go forward. And it's been really hard work for the team, but when they get to a point where they can reduce some of the burden for the work, it really is a feel-good factor. Lots of people to thank after this week, and we normally just say we thank all of these people here, but I am going to highlight the home team again as being fabulous, and John Williams, who virtually became a member of the away team, helping us with the IT constructions of the new tracker. So a big thank you to John.
I'm Andrew Tapp, Care Group Medical Director for Women's and Children's Services and Support Services. Well, first of all, what a fabulous team. The Chief Executive did note at the start of the week that I was the only bloke in the room. What we've seen is the creation of new standard work. I was a sponsor and requested a focus on the candidate. I set the task of getting the post information form and the offer letter being reduced from 42 days down to 7 days. The team have gone well beyond that, and now you can see there's a focus of 1 to 2 days of getting that offer out. They've also created new standard work, which is getting the contract out within 20 days. I also put in the task of reducing the steps, so I wasn't too sure for the goodness of the health of the recruitment team, and also reducing the defects, and you've seen the specific defect reduction. I asked for the focus to be on the candidate, but you'll have heard that actually there's an improvement here for all members of the recruitment process, from the recruitment manager through the recruitment team. But I think most importantly, the experience of the patients we serve will be improved, because there will be a marked shortening in the time when a post is vacant within our trust. So thank you to the teams.
I'm Sister Andrea Walton, and I'm the process owner for Value Stream 2, RPIW2, which looked at improving the process for the delivery of the sepsis bundle on SAU at RSH. Following our 90-day remeasures, it was noted that we'd not maintained our 100% implementation metric for checking the sepsis trolley. Through PDSA, we have now moved the trolley to outside the doctor's office to make it more visible, and have included it on the checking list on our ward-based cleaning rota. I'm pleased to report that we have now improved our 5S of the trolley, and it's now at a level 3. We've maintained a 90% reduction in the time taken to deliver all elements of the sepsis bundle, 296 minutes to 23 minutes, and antibiotics given within 18 minutes, and 85% improvement. With continued PDSA, the plan is to continue to measure the improvements which will be reported at 120 days.
Really, I want to just put it into a bit of context about the achievements that have been made on SAU. Just a year ago, a report was commissioned on behalf of NHS England called Just Say Sepsis, indicated that trusts were struggling to get anywhere near the 1 hour target of giving antibiotics to septic patients. 90 days ago, we undertook a rapid improvement process on SAU, and didn't just hit that target, but actually massively reduced it down to 20 minutes to give antibiotics, and not just provide the antibiotics, but actually the entire sepsis bundle within that sort of time range. And here we are now later on, 90 days further on, and we've we've sustained that on the board, continue to sustain that on the board. And I think that's a tremendous achievement. Looking at in terms of getting the trolley in, owning the process, getting all the relevant paperwork in, standardising things as we've heard, that's all work. And I think the major change really has been in the mindset, it's been the culture of the people there. The people on the board now are much more aware of sepsis. They're very much more aware of the role and responsibilities they play when a patient arrives at the ward showing signs of sepsis. They know what to do, and I think that gives me confidence and reassurance that we'll be looking 3 months' time, 6 months' time, a year down the line, and we'll continue to show those improvements. So I think that's a massive achievement from the team at 90 days, and I think well done to Andrea, to Emma, to Kirsty, and all the team, I say. Well done.
Hi, I'm Jo Yale, Head of Facilities, and I'm here to give you a brief insight into how myself and my team have successfully used Virginia Mason methodology to transform the cleanliness monitoring process. Trust-wide joint cleanliness monitoring was implemented in November 2015. Initially, a team of 1.6 whole-time equivalent began monitoring 20 very high-risk areas and 70 high-risk areas on a monthly basis. But the aim was always to increase the monitoring of very high-risk areas to weekly once the system was embedded. We also knew we had to identify how we were going to include the monitoring of 42 significant areas and 5 low-risk areas. However, unfortunately, it very quickly became clear that we were taking a lot longer to monitor than was initially anticipated, and therefore we were unable to develop the programme as we wanted to with the staff we had. And so, working with the monitoring team, we studied the current state using standard operation tools and found that it took almost 1 hour for 2 people to audit each ward, 1 checking cleanliness, 1 entering data. During our observations, we saw various elements of waste. These included waiting to see the nurse in charge, walking between areas as the programme wasn't very well structured, and searching for rooms on tablets. Eventually, we determined that to develop the programme of weekly very high-risk monitoring, we needed a further 5.16 whole-time equivalent at an additional cost of over £100,000 a year. And this calculation didn't even account for implementing the significant and low-risk monitoring and for covering absence, downloading, uploading time, reporting, etc. Therefore, we realised that to fully develop the programme as required, we would need even more whole-time equivalent, and calculated that this was clearly not possible in the current financial climate. I will now hand you over to Sue, who is our business manager, and she'll tell you what we did next.
Hello. Using the time available and the areas that we needed to cover, we identified a tap time of 20 minutes per area. And we trialled this with the team to see how much we could achieve in this time. It was identified that the team could easily manage 2 bays, 2 bathrooms, the kitchen, and a dirty and or clean utility on each area, alternating which bays and bathrooms they do so that we do cover all in over a period of time. That's as a minimum. If they've got more time, they do more. It was also agreed that at times that we would only have 1 person doing the monitoring, though we do need to sometimes have 2 so that we keep the same consistency between the team. The effect of this was that instead of asking for 5.16 whole-time equivalents to continue, we had a surplus of 0.21 whole-time equivalents. And this allowed us to add significant risk areas, and we've just started to look at monitoring Queensway as well into the team. We've eliminated other waste in that we've looked at the audits and programming them so that the areas are co-located, so we reduce walking time. The team report to the nearest member of staff available on the ward rather than waiting for the nurse in charge, so that reduces the waiting time. Downloading it is done walking to and from audits rather than back at the base. And we've tried to match up room numbers and descriptions on the tablets better so that they're not searching for the rooms. And also circulation spaces, they get done as they're walking around to and from audits rather than having that as an audit on their own. So future developments, we also need to look at how we include monitoring of the low risk areas into the programme. We also want to cross-reference the monitoring standard with the IPC team and the cleanliness management team so that we are all using the same standard. And we need to look at a more robust system for feeding back to managers and getting feedback back to us to actually give us assurance and to help feed the exemplar award system. And that's it. Thank you.
The good news is, however, that this project is only the start of transformation work within facilities. The management team are now using the Transforming Care Institute methodology to increase productivity, improve efficiency and reduce cost across the directorate. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Victoria, I'm the Workforce Director for the Trust and a very chuffed executive sponsor for Value Stream 3 on recruitment. I think the theme of firsts for this RPIW has been used a lot and I'm just going to pick up on that for a moment. I think this was our first value stream outside of a clinical setting, and actually that's a really powerful statement about the value that every role and every area of our organisation brings to our patients. So I just wanted to just ensure that we recognise that. Whilst the Gemba for this RPIW is our recruitment team, the improvements that we've made through the process will be felt across our organisation, and I think that's incredibly powerful. And another first for our RPIW and our value streams is that this is the first time that we've had a patient representative with us for a full week, so I'd just like to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you. Stay with me, Julie. To say a massive thank you to Julie Locke for giving up a whole week to really give us those fresh eyes and the patient perspective. So just a really massive thank you to Julie. I just want to echo Andrew's comments that actually focusing on the experience that our people have, whether they've been in the Trust for 10 years or they've just sent in an application form, is really, really critical. And our ambition is we give the best employment experience to our staff. And whilst we've got a way to go on that, actually this RPIW is a massive step forward in terms of how we move on that. So I'm just really chuffed with the improvements that have happened this week. And whilst the focus, quite rightly from Andrew, is on the candidates, and I absolutely support that, we just need to remember the difference that having the right staff with the right values at the right time, delivering fantastic care to our patients, makes to their experience and their outcomes. So this is very much, whilst it's been a very staff-focused, is about the benefits it brings to our patients, which will just be fantastic. So really, really excited. So I'm not going to talk for long, which for those of you who know me is a bit odd, but I'm going to try and wrap up. I just want to say a massive thank you to all the teams, because actually giving up time, particularly at the moment, is a real big ask. And you've all come at this with a massive contribution and massive commitment. So a massive thank you to the home team and the away team and to the advisors, and a massive thank you to the KPO team for guiding us through this week. But I'd also like to just take this opportunity to say how honoured I feel to work alongside my workforce colleagues. They're a fantastic team, and I in particularly want to just highlight my admiration for the recruitment team led by Louise, because actually I think it's quite brave to open up what you do to other people and ask them for their thoughts on how you could do it better. I think they've done that with integrity, and they've been really open, and more importantly than anything else, they've done that in line with the Trust values. So I am just chuffed to be part of Team Workforce and Team Staff. So thank you very much.
So the fire bells have stopped, so I'm feeling relieved that we're not going to have to dash out of the building with smoke coming off the back of my jacket. I was sat sort of reflecting really on, we've done a few of these now, haven't we? We've done a few report outs. And it feels today as if we've turned a corner. And I'm going to draw out a few reasons for saying that, because I think what we're beginning to see now is this work starting to become standardised, starting to become a feature of how we're going about delivering our care and our services to each other and to the patients and families that we're here to support. So let me start with the wonderful team behind me, who 83 ideas, wow. Crikey. You know, anybody who's been involved or seen the work of an RPIW knows it's hugely ambitious, and to have so many ideas is wonderful. You know, the freedom to be able to change things and to have fresh approaches is something that we want to encourage at all levels. So that's hugely exciting. The first impressions that we give to anybody when they join an organisation determines how they feel about it. And I can say that. It's almost a year since I joined our organisation. And the way that I was made to feel by everybody when I walked around the hospitals and met the teams left a lasting impression on me. And the process that you go through, how you're seen, how you're treated, the kindness that's given to you makes a big difference. And what we know in our organisation is if you stay for a year, you stay for about 20 years. So, and we want you to stay, don't we? So that's wonderful. So a few bits to pick out. So an offer out in 2 days, contract in 20 days. When I heard Andrew's challenge at the start of the week, I thought, oh yeah, that's you know, that's quite something. That's quite a hard one for the team. And haven't they done brilliantly? Haven't they? Absolutely brilliantly, really brilliantly. So. And we know that when you've done an interview process, the thing that you're waiting for at that point is that written information. You're desperately keen to get it. And we're in an environment at the moment where, with some areas of our workforce, we know that if there is a delay, they may actually turn around and say, well, you know what, we've changed our mind, we're going to go somewhere else. So that's really important in terms of making sure that the colleague that's next to you is part of our organisation and not part of an agency. So tracker system signage, the office layout, the welcome packs, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and will undoubtedly make a difference. And you can begin to see how these things are referencing our endeavour to become the safest and kindest. You know, to be able to have patient involvement in our RPIWs is really powerful. It's really important, and it centres us on why we're here. So earlier this week I was speaking in a National Patient First conference talking about the work of the team here, particularly on sepsis. So it was a slightly larger audience there, 4,000 people, and it was lovely to hear them stand up at the end of the presentation clapping about the work of this organisation, 4,000 people. So I wish you could have been stood with me to hear that. That is about your work and your work. So it's a wonderful achievement. 50 patients, sadly, every year die of sepsis in our organisation. 50 patients. And at the time that we did our RPIW, one member of the team's family came into the hospital, into the A&E, and actually had sepsis. And they were given the bundle within 36 minutes, and they survived and have gone home. The last 50 patients that we've seen have all had the bundle, and we know that the bundle saves lives. This is such a powerful statement for us and for our families, who are the people that arrive into our hospitals needing our care. So to be able to get these things right when nobody else is, says something massive about our workforce, doesn't it? Nobody else is doing this. Nobody. The NHS is the 5th largest employer in the world, and nobody else is doing this except SAF. That's a fantastically powerful statement. So, and it speaks hugely about what we're trying to achieve. So well done to the team back at base at Shrewsbury around the sepsis. Just wanted to mention a little bit about leadership. So Kathy mentioned at the start that we're now up to 1,300 members of the workforce who have had exposure to Virginia Mason and the work that we're doing with our Transforming Care Institute. And why is that important? Well, I think Joe and Sue showed us why that's important, because they're two of the people in their team that actually went along and thought, well, we'll have a listen to this. We'll see what it's all about. and then take it back into our workplace and actually do something with it. And what a powerful statement they've made. I mean, I was lucky enough to listen to a little bit more detail around the process that the team have gone through, and it really is impressive when you consider that they don't have the home and away teams in the way that we have today for our value streams. They've done this locally and come out with this wonderful outcome. And just to set this into context, if we hadn't done this work and we'd have had to invest in the additional resources that the team were talking about, then that was about £80,000. I'm delighted that we're in a position where we're going out now to advert to appoint another consultative palliative care consultant with our colleagues outside the organisation. And why are we doing that? Well, one of the reasons is because we're not spending £82,000 with our cleanliness team. The cost is the same. So our ability to be able to control our costs in this way through these improvements means that we are able to invest in other areas, and that's important for us to remember. So just as I finish off, can I stop by just saying that this is the first RPIW and value stream that we've had without somebody from Virginia Mason here. And for those of you that are less near to the detail, you perhaps won't appreciate just how much investment is required from Cathy. And I just want to celebrate with everybody just how successful we've been for Cathy to be able to do this in about a year, to be able to pick up the gauntlet and actually take on the work that Virginia Mason have been doing for 15 years. So well done, Cathy. Can I also say a quick thank you to Louise as well? Where are you, Louise? Thank you, Louise. It's your first occasion of doing this, I think, isn't it? So in terms of the team leader role, so fantastic effort. And, you know, just from what we've heard today, hugely successful. So I'm really delighted to be in a position to talk about this material. And when I was talking to colleagues, last thing, honestly, when I was talking to colleagues at an event in Leeds a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying just how hard it is at the moment in the NHS, and it is, isn't it? It is difficult. And we were sharing with them the work that we're doing and the amount of jealousy that existed in the room, because this is giving us the opportunity to move forward, to be able to do the things that will make a difference to our patients and to each other. And I can tell you that all of the organisations that I speak to wish they were in our shoes. So, you know, even though it's really difficult, this does give us a lovely lifeline in terms of where we're heading to be the safest and kindest organisation in the NHS. So thank you all very much. Have a lovely weekend.
I'm going to invite Lou as team member to help Simon present the certificates this afternoon.
Thank you. Lynn? There you go. Thank you. Hannah? Thank you. There you go, Katie. Well done. I look forward to hearing about it in 60 days. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us the time. Very kind.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you.
We're going to ask our team to stay with us because they're not quite finished their week's work. We're just going to do a debrief. Thank you all for coming, and just to remind you, we have now speeded up our number of RPIWs, so it is just 2 weeks today where we'll be reporting out from our next RPIW, which is sepsis and identification of the deteriorating patient. So that's the third, I'm looking at the next just to check I'm right, third RPIW in the sepsis value stream, which is over at Shrewsbury, the main report out, linked over to here again. So at Shrewsbury, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time, and our game at that time will be Ward 28. And so we're already busy doing, or Nick's really busy doing observations and working with the team then. So I just have to say thank you to the whole KPO team, because to put on a week takes all of us, hence no annual leave for anybody this week. So thank you all very much, and we'll see you in a fortnight's time.
Thank you.